Welcome back. We have more fun in store. The CEO Foundation is dedicated to empowering the next generation of leaders, innovators, and change makers.
And that involves a focus on education and the arts, health, wellness, and environmental as well as social impact. So joining us this morning to share more is board member David Pham. David, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Doing great.
Nice Christmas, I'm sure.
Yeah, fantastic.
Thank you for joining us. Take us back to when you started this foundation along with you and others in late 2021. I know it came from tragedy.
Yeah, it was early 2021, and it did start from a pretty dark place. Really early 2021, as you guys know, Houston was going through a pretty terrible cold spell. The grid had gone down, and my sister, she was home with her children, Colette, Edison, and Olivia, as well as my mother. And when the grid went down, they did what many other families did.
Right.
They turned on the fireplace to try to stay warm. The following morning, my sister's, she woke up in the hospital and found that the house had, there was a house fire. We had lost her children and my mother in that house fire. And so through that just dark tragedy, my sister kind of found a way to carry on the legacy of her children through this foundation. That's kind of how it all started, and really the hard why.
Yeah, I mean, it's so challenging when you think of that.
Absolutely. That's so great the way y'all were able to come together and now putting it to help the community. Talk about the foundation. What exactly do you guys do?
Yeah, so the foundation, it exists to empower the next generation of leaders and innovators and change makers, because that's how my sister saw her children. And so really it's a way to have that living legacy kind of carry on through philanthropic efforts.
And in those efforts, how do you educate, whether it be in the arts or through wellness? How do you get that message across and help form that next generation and those future legacies?
Yeah, well, tangibly, earlier this year, I would say in the area of education and arts, the foundation was able to help revitalize a library. And so we found that, in today's generation, the library is probably not the most exciting place for kids. And we wanted to kind of take a new approach to that, revitalize a local library and make it a modern and inviting space. And the real impactful part of that was that the library that we first got to choose as our first project was the library at the children's school. And so the same place where the kids walked in those same halls and had all their same teachers and classmates, they got to have their legacy live on through the library project that we did with St. Lawrence. Taking
tragedy and turning it into motivation to help so many others. What is next for the foundation?
Yeah, so I think environmental impact is a big part. The kids, Colette, Edison, and Olivia, you could see their heart kind of live out through all the initiatives. Earlier this year, we also planted 100 trees in a local community. It was a great way to get families together to really show children the importance that they have on the environment. And I would say that we have more of that in terms of, we have a gala. We had a very, very successful gala earlier this year.
You're at the Rockets game?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Go Rockets. Yeah, really through the gala last year, I've been to a lot of galas in my life, and oftentimes you go to a gala and you donate and hopefully you get something in return. Mm-hmm. My sister, in her vision for the gala, was to pay it forward, and people who bid on experiences for youth, and that was a really, really incredible way to see the organization help power a lot of other just world-changing organizations that are helping youth.
David, it's unfortunate that we have the tragedy that helped spark this, but I remember so many in your church, in the community, this is in Sugar Land, everybody coming together. How strong of a force has that community been in helping get this foundation to where it's at today?
Yeah, I would say community has been just central. I think for my sister and for my family, my sister specifically, she suffered a loss of family. And I think the community, we saw kind of a gigantic family rise up from that tragedy. And I would also say that the legacy living on through the foundation has been incredible. Again, we had hundreds of people come out and plant the trees. We've had hundreds of kids affected through the efforts of the foundation. You know, kids going to Rockets games, kids being able to experience the Houston Texans and meeting C.J. Stroud. You know, there's just so many neat little efforts that we're able to do to help kind of empower this next generation.
And change the mindset of a young child moving forward.
Yeah.
It's
Real
incredible.
quick, how can we learn more and how can our viewers learn more about the organization?
Absolutely. You can find out more at ceofoundation.org. We're on Instagram at CEO for Good. And yeah, that's how they can get involved.
All right, David Pham, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
He is a board member with the CEO Foundation. Go to their site, look them up. They're doing some incredible things in our backyard.
Thank you, David.